Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. When you do, please tap the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. And if you tap the little like button, that's good for us too. Well, we're here in the garage. Jim and I are still toiling away. Toil. We're still toiling away on Jim's bike. We've got most of it done. In our last video, we put the carburetor and air cleaner on it. Now we're at the point of putting the motor mount on. I like to put the carburetor on before I put the motor mount on. I like to put the manifold on before I do any of that. And I've been doing it in that order because that way it's a pleasure. You're not winding your hands around in there trying to do things. So the order of things really does matter. It just makes it a whole lot more pleasant. And we do like pleasant. Okay, now there's some of the things that are routed a little bit differently than stock on this bike because it's not a stock carburetor. Jim has had added his usual accessories, which have to do with him being an engineer by trade. And that's just the way it is. We learn to live with those things. So I'm going to put this on the motor mount. And let's see, as I recall, the fuel line goes under the bottom.
Correct.
Bottom of the motor mount. This is the vacuum line that goes over to the carburetor.
Yeah.
This is the wiring for the VOES, which must also go over there.
Correct.
That being said, I think we've got everything in order. Yeah. These are your horn wires.
Oh, you know what? Sorry.
That's all right.
This guy goes through the grommet. That's down there.
Oh, right.
Yeah. There we go. I forgot about that.
No, that's a good thing to remember. Keeps that fuel line out of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is put these two bolts in first. Now, we've showed putting a motor mount onto a shovel head or a pan, and that sort of thing has to be shimmed in order to fit flat. This one, which we checked it before we took it off, it does fit flat. And so with it fitting as flat as it does, we don't have to shim it. Yeah, I like that fuel line going through there. That's pretty nice.
Oops, sorry. Pulled on it too soon.
That's all right. We're fine. You could hook up this vacuum line.
Thank you.
You want to show the port on the carburetor where that where the vacuum line hooks on? You'll have to show it from the other side, I think, Mike.
Right down here next to the fuel filter, so it's a little bit tricky because that fuel filter is aftermarket also, but sticks right there. Let me see if I can, I'll try to position the filter out of the way with this wrench.
Oh, okay, then you
Mike,
can see
and
it.
then you can see it.
Yeah, he got it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to put the main bolt in here. The nut is actually held captive in the frame from the factory. It isn't really held captive. It slides in from the front, and I don't even bother to take them out. Are you fighting me? You're fighting me. Yeah, don't worry about it. It really is an it'll take care of itself kind of a thing. See? It's kind of neat. It really makes it a little easier working by yourself on it because it does that. Yeah, and that's not going to spin. It's going to flop around, but it's not going to spin. Can you see it coming through there yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to put it in place like that, and then I'm going to tighten these down gradually. That's a big bolt in the middle there. It's I guess about a 7/16 bolt. It's got a 5/8 head on it. These out here on the ends are 3/8. They've got 9/16 heads on them. Just kind of standard hardware. Thought I had it down. Okay. Now again, this stuff is not tight yet. That's an important point. It's not tight yet, okay? So we can see by rocking the ends that the center of it is pulling in all the way. Out here, there's more than enough bolt to take up the gap. It doesn't need to be shimmed. As we tighten it up, it's going to hold the motor in place perfectly, which is what the goal is. So we don't want to tighten any of it up too tight at once, but we want it all to tighten down evenly. Like I said, these out here are 9/16 heads. That one there is a 5/8 head. So we'll tighten them down evenly, little at a time. That way, no grief. Harley really did a nice job on these motor mounts because I don't see them break. The old ones, if you didn't put them down exactly right, you would break them. I remember bragging about the one on my shovel head. Everyone had broken one but me.
Until you broke
And in
one.
front of a certain bar one night, I did a big burnout, and all the guys I'd been telling it about watched me break that motor mount into 3 pieces. Okay. So we now have this all tight. As in very tight. It's not going anywhere. And if it does, it won't tell anybody. Okay, the next one is, we've got a couple of ground wires here.
I'm going to remind you the next time this motor mount comes on, who tightened those.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna remind me who tightened them on? Yeah, well, you know. Oh well. Oh well. Now, this is the enriching cable. People call it a choke, but it's not. It's an enricher. The reason I'm drawing attention to this is because this housing here is plastic. And if you're not careful, you will break it. And that's about all the tighter you want that thing. In fact, I might just carefully put a little wrench right here. It's not a 10, probably a 12. Nope, it's an 11.
Yeah, so that's a Mikuni carburetor, so the fasteners with its stuff is metric. That's just
Yeah, depending. You know, sometimes you're using, on one of their kits, you'll use your original enricher and put it on.
I did not know that.
So this is a 14 and an 11 millimeter. That's it. Any tighter, I risk breaking it. Okay, the next thing is we have a couple of ground wires here that Jim has with his added things. It'll be this ground and this one over here. I know what this one is. This is his horns.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people will make jokes out of Jim's horns. His wife says he uses them to keep his halo up.
Yeah, those are all the original wires to the original horn that I needed to tuck up out of the way when I installed the dual horns up front.
Right. Well, these are just ground wires, though. So.
Yeah. No, I was referring to these that are in your way right now.
Well, that's all right. That's why they're there.
Yeah. I didn't want to remove the original connectors.
Okay. Now this bolt, although it's doing double duty as a place to ground those wires, this is a two-piece motor mount. These 3 bolts hold the 2 motor mount plates together. And believe me, they are tight. That's it. There isn't any more to it. Motor mount is on. Let's see, was there anything else we were going to do at this point? Oh, I got to hook the wire up on the coil. Gee. There it is. I'm not going to put them on the plugs yet because I'm not ready to screw the plugs in. But the coil is back on, the fuel line is through, the enricher is on, the carburetor is on, the air cleaner is on, the VOES switch is hooked up. Did we hook up the wiring to that, Jim?
To the VOES? Yes,
Yes,
I did.
you did hook that plug up.
I hooked it
okay.
up. Tape is still on it. I just wanted you to see it.
Right, thank you. The point I was getting at is the VOES is actually attached to the motor mount.
Yeah.
So that's why it got unhooked, and that's why it has to be hooked back up
switch
again.
right down there.
Okay, then that pretty well does it for now. Next time, I think maybe we'll put the pipes on this thing. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
I want to do that. Everybody wants to see your pipes anyway. So, until then, we'll see you out on the road.